comfortable lie is a silent killer. It whispers in your ear, a soothing lullaby of mediocrity, telling you that tired is enough, that bored is a valid reason to cease. It paints a gilded cage of familiarity, convincing you that safety is superior to the wild, untamed expanse of your potential. You stop. Not because you are broken, not because your spirit has fractured, but because the path of least resistance has a seductive pull. You settle for the soft cushion of almost, for the muted hum of what if, rather than the raw, exhilarating roar of I did. But here is the uncomfortable truth, laid bare like bone against desert sand: success doesn't care how you feel. It does not yield to your comfort, nor does it bend to your weariness. It responds to one singular, unyielding force: whether you show up. When your mind screams stop, a primal, desperate wail for retreat, that is precisely when you must force yourself to keep going. That is the crucible. That is the moment of genesis, when the brittle shell of your old self shatters, and the true, untamed force within you begins to stir. In these fleeting, crucial moments, you will learn the ancient secret: how to push past the invisible wall of resistance, how to silence the insidious whispers of your own excuses, and how to forge a mind, tempered by fire, into an unstoppable instrument of your will. If you are truly, profoundly tired of the Sisyphean cycle of starting over, of chasing ghosts of ambition that vanish with the first hint of struggle, then it is time to learn how to finish. It is time to engrave the decision to keep going onto the very fabric of your being. You stand at a crossroads, not of physical roads, but of your very existence. Before you, two paths diverge, stark and undeniable. One leads back to the familiar, the safe, the comfort of everything you have ever known, a well-trodden rut carved by the footsteps of others who chose certainty over challenge. The other path, however, leads into the formidable unknown. It winds towards dreams not yet realized, towards goals not yet achieved, towards a version of you not yet born, waiting, nascent, on the other side of your courage. I understand the magnetic pull of retreat. The path behind you is paved with the treacherous ease of familiarity. It is lined with the faces of those who will tell you to stay where it's safe, who will whisper cautionary tales of risk, who will urge you to be realistic, to play it safe. They mean well, perhaps, but their well-meaning caution is the chain that binds you to mediocrity. They speak from the limitations of their own journey, not the boundless expanse of yours. But listen closely: growth does not live there. It thrives, wild and magnificent, on the road ahead, the road filled with challenges that will test your resolve, lessons etched in the fires of adversity, and yes, sometimes, even pain that will strip away everything but your bare essence. Yet, this is also the path of unbounded potential, of relentless progress, of true, undeniable greatness. Every single person you have ever admired, whose achievements echo through the halls of history, stood exactly where you are now. They were not fearless automatons. They were not bathed in certainty. They were simply willing. Willing to risk the sting of failure, willing to walk alone into the vast silence of their ambition, willing to push forward, one relentless step after another, despite the suffocating weight of fear. Consider the trajectory of Abraham Lincoln, a man whose path to greatness was anything but a straight line. It was a jagged, brutal landscape marked by countless defeats in business, in elections, in the very fabric of his personal life. He lost jobs. He lost loved ones. He lost election after election, the sting of public rejection a constant companion. Time and again, the world screamed no at him, yet he refused to let those defeats define him. He kept moving. And that singular, unyielding choice to continue, to persist against all odds, shaped the future of a nation. Lincoln's story is not an anomaly. Behind every successful person, etched into the very ground they stand upon, is a trail of hardship. The authors whose manuscripts were rejected dozens, even hundreds of times, before a single word saw print. The entrepreneurs who went bankrupt, who faced financial ruin, before they built empires that spanned continents. The athletes who trained in the silent, anonymous hours of dawn, long before anyone knew their name. What sets them apart, what elevates them from the common throngs, is not some mythical luck or innate genius. It is a decision. The decision to keep going. You, too, must make that same decision now. You must declare, with the full force of your being, that no matter how hard it gets, no matter how steep the climb, you will not quit. That no matter how much your mind screams for you to turn back, to succumb to the sweet siren song of comfort, you will keep putting one foot in front of the other. Because the path ahead, though steep and uncertain, holds the life you truly desire. It cradles the version of yourself you are destined to become. You do not grow by avoiding the fire. You grow by walking directly through its purifying flames. You become strong by leaning into discomfort, by embracing the sharp sting of rejection, by rising again, bruised but unbowed, every single time you are knocked down. Pain is not your enemy. It is your most rigorous, uncompromising trainer. It strips away what is weak and builds up, brick by agonizing brick, what is powerful within you. This is your moment. This is where your transformation begins. Not in the sterile comfort of safety, but in the raw, vibrant heart of challenge. Not in the deceptive ease of the familiar, but in the gritty, soul-testing struggle. Decide now. Decide that you are done playing small, done shrinking your ambitions to fit the narrow expectations of others. Decide that you are worthy of more, that your dreams are not foolish fantasies, that your goals are not too big, that you are not too broken. The world does not need more people hiding in the shadows of their potential. It needs more people rising, defiant and resolute. And you, right now, have the singular chance to rise. To move forward despite the cold grip of fear. To leave behind a life that no longer serves your highest purpose and step into one that demands more, yes, but gives infinitely more in return. So take the step. Even if your knees shake, even if your voice trembles, even if you are the only soul on this earth who believes in you right now, take the step. Because this right here, right now, in the quiet resolve of your own heart, is where everything changes. To keep going, to persist with the unyielding force of a river carving through stone, you must first define your purpose. Clearly. Deeply. Without hesitation. Your purpose is not some vague, abstract notion you might stumble upon someday. It is the incandescent fuel that powers your entire journey. It is what drives you forward when every fiber of your being screams for you to halt, when the weight of the world feels crushing. When the world says stop, purpose whispers, with an ancient, knowing voice, go. Without this burning why, even the smallest challenges will loom like insurmountable mountains. But when your purpose burns bright, a beacon in the darkest night, you can walk through fire and emerge not only unscathed, but stronger, purified. Purpose transmutes pain into progress. It gives profound meaning to every sacrifice, every lonely hour, every setback. It transforms struggle into the very essence of growth. Without a strong why, the journey will not only test you, it will crush you beneath its relentless weight. But with it, that same journey will not destroy you, it will forge you into something unbreakable, something magnificent. Consider Martin Luther King Jr. He did not march through cities, deliver speeches that swayed nations, or face the virulent hatred of an entrenched system because it was easy. He did it because he knew, with an unshakable certainty, what he stood for. He knew precisely where he was going. His dream of equality was not a wish, a fleeting desire. It was a mission. Every word he spoke, every step he took, every indignity he endured, was guided by an unshakable clarity of purpose. That clarity moved millions. It ignited a fire in the hearts of others, not because of charisma alone, but because purpose is contagious. When someone walks with conviction, with a clear and undeniable reason for their existence, people notice. They listen. They follow. You possess that same raw power within you, but first, you must define it. Ask yourself the uncomfortable questions. What are you truly passionate about? What problem, what injustice, what unmet need burns in your heart to solve? What legacy do you want to leave behind? What indelible impact do you want to make in this world? Let the answers be raw. Let them be real. Do not settle for vague goals or borrowed dreams that others have prescribed for you. Get brutally honest. Get exquisitely specific. And once you've found that answer, that pulsing core of your being, write it down. Not once. Not just in the fleeting realm of your mind. Put it on paper. Pin it to your wall. Etch it into your journal. Place it anywhere you will see it often, constantly, relentlessly. Read it when you are tired. Repeat it, a mantra of power, when you are afraid. Return to it, like a homing pigeon, when doubt creeps in, insidious and cold. Purpose is not a one-time spark that ignites and then fades. It is a daily fire you must tend, a sacred flame you must continuously keep lit. When the road gets impossibly hard, purpose will be the invisible hand that keeps you moving. When you are tempted to surrender, to give up, to retreat into the comforting shadows of what if, purpose will remind you, with a gentle yet firm insistence, why you started. It will become your unwavering compass when you feel lost in the swirling chaos. Your anchor when the storms of life hit with hurricane force. Your impenetrable armor when the world pushes back with all its might. This isn't about fleeting motivation. Motivation is a powerful burst, yes, but it fades. Purpose endures. Motivation is loud, a trumpet blast, but short-lived. Purpose is quiet, a deep, resonant hum, but eternal. Define it. Repeat it. Guard it with the ferocity of a lion protecting its cubs. Your purpose is not just a statement written on paper. It is your North Star, guiding you through the darkest nights. It is the reason your story matters. The reason you were given this precious, finite life. It is not found in comfort, nor in the shallow waters of convenience. It is discovered in the deep, turbulent moments when you question everything, yet, with a defiant spark, choose to keep going. There is greatness inside you, a slumbering giant, but it will not reveal itself, it will not fully awaken, until your purpose becomes crystal clear. Only then will your steps gain meaning. Only then will your actions align with destiny. The world does not need more people who are merely existing, drifting aimlessly through the days. It needs people who are on fire with purpose. People who know, with a profound certainty, why they wake up, why they fight, why they refuse to quit. So ask the questions. Search your soul. Dig deep until you find your truth. And once you do, never let it go. Let your purpose pull you forward, step by agonizing step, day by relentless day, until the life you've imagined, the life that burns in your deepest desires, becomes the life you unequivocally live. With purpose as your anchor, the next step is to set concrete goals and milestones. Goals give your expansive dream structure. Without them, even the boldest, most vivid vision fades into the background noise of daily distractions, a beautiful mirage that dissipates with the rising sun. A dream without direction is like a magnificent ship without a compass. It is adrift, lost on an endless ocean, and eventually, tragically, forgotten. But when you define clear, actionable, measurable goals, you give your dream a spine, a framework, a tangible path forward. You begin the alchemical process of turning possibility into inevitability. Goals are not just wishes, idly written down and hoped for. They are promises to yourself. They are declarations to the universe, and more importantly, to your own subconscious, that you will not leave your future to chance. That you will not sit back and simply hope for things to happen. No. You will move. You will build. You will rise. History, a grand tapestry woven with the threads of human endeavor, has shown us repeatedly what becomes possible when vision is paired with relentless precision. Consider the moon landing. It was not achieved in one gargantuan leap. It began with an audacious vision, yes, a seemingly impossible dream whispered into the ears of a skeptical world. But it was brought to life, meticulously, through specific, measurable, time-bound steps. Each calculation, each test flight, each unmanned mission, each sub-goal, was a defined objective. And one by one, those goals, painstakingly achieved, formed the bridge, the tangible pathway, from Earth to Moon. That same meticulous power lives within you. Start today. Not tomorrow. Not when the stars align perfectly, or when you feel ready. Now. Write your goals down. Not merely in the fleeting theater of your mind. On paper. On your wall. In your journal. Make them real. Make them visible. Do not settle for vague intentions or abstract wishes that float away like smoke. Get crystal clear about what you want, when you want it, and most crucially, why it matters. Your goals should not merely be comfortable, they should challenge you, push you past your perceived limits, and remain deeply, intrinsically connected to your overarching purpose. With this newfound clarity and direction, you begin to truly see the path. You begin to act with intention, rather than reaction. Break your larger, audacious goals into smaller, manageable milestones. These are clear checkpoints, victory flags planted along the journey, that keep you grounded, focused, and constantly aware of your progress. With every milestone you reach, with every small victory you claim, you build an unshakable trust in yourself. You begin to understand, not intellectually, but deeply, in your bones, that progress is not a myth. It is happening. Step by laborious step. Decision by deliberate decision. Each small victory matters. Celebrate it. Let it serve as a powerful reminder that you are not stuck. You are moving. You are becoming. This is how true transformation happens. Not by miraculous, overnight leaps, but by persistent, deliberate steps. Not by chaotic, random motion, but by disciplined, purposeful structure. When your goals are clear, your actions flow inevitably from them. You stop wandering aimlessly. You start building, brick by painful brick. You stop reacting to the world. You start leading your life, shaping it with the hammer of your will. There will be days when the dream feels impossibly distant, when the weight of the work feels too heavy to bear, when exhaustion is a physical ache in your soul. That is precisely when your goals save you. They pull you back from the precipice of despair. They remind you, with a fierce urgency, why you began this arduous journey. They give you something solid to stand on when the ground beneath you feels like quicksand. This is not about being perfect. It is about being committed. It is about showing up, day after day, step after step, until your outer life begins, slowly but surely, to reflect your inner vision. Dream big, always, with boundless imagination, but anchor that magnificent dream in daily action. Start small, yes, but be relentless. Refuse to quit. Because when clearly defined goals guide your journey, your dream is no longer a fragile hope. It becomes your inevitable destination. And every goal you set, every milestone you reach, every single step you take, brings that dream to vivid, undeniable life. So start now. Choose one goal. Choose one action. Choose one step, and begin the journey that transforms your vision into reality. There comes a moment in every pursuit, in every daring dream, when the voices of the world begin to rise. Some may whisper in caution, a gentle, insidious doubt. Others will shout, with righteous indignation, their outright disbelief. The tone may vary, but the chilling essence remains the same: criticism. And often, this criticism, this doubt, does not arise from malice, not from a desire to see you fail. It springs, more often than not, from fear. Their fear of the unknown. Their fear of the untested. Their fear of the unconventional path you have dared to choose. Yet it is this very path, this uncertain road, often mocked and ridiculed, that inevitably leads to greatness. The uncomfortable truth is this: criticism and doubt from others, if left unchecked, if allowed to burrow into the soft earth of your self-belief, can derail even the strongest ambitions. But only if you allow it. You hold the ultimate key. Consider Galileo Galilei, the father of modern science. He dared to defy the rigid dogmas of his time, a world steeped in unquestioned tradition. He looked through a rudimentary telescope and saw a universe that stubbornly refused to orbit the Earth, a revelation that shattered the very foundation of accepted knowledge. For this intellectual audacity, he was condemned, silenced, and cast aside by those too fearful, too entrenched in their old ways, to confront a new truth. And yet, his vision endured. Centuries later, his name shines like a supernova in the annals of human progress, while his critics have long since faded into the silent shadows of history. Albert Einstein, too, faced fierce resistance. His theories, abstract and revolutionary, bent the very fabric of physics, shattering the limits of conventional understanding. His ideas were ridiculed, dismissed as the musings of a madman, before they were revered as the bedrock of modern science. But he did not flinch. He trusted the pristine clarity of his own thought more than the deafening noise of his critics. And today, the world bows not to those who mocked him, but to the singular brilliance that transformed science forever. From these towering lives, we learn a simple, yet profoundly powerful lesson: the judgment of others is often a reflection of their limitations, not your boundless potential. When people doubt your path, when they question your sanity for pursuing an audacious dream, it is usually because they cannot see what you see. Their vision is bound by the restrictive walls of their own experience, their own fears, their own perceived limitations, while yours reaches far beyond, into the vast, unexplored expanse of possibility. If you surrender your dreams to their doubt, you make a tragic exchange: you trade infinite possibility for finite fear. You must, therefore, cultivate the ruthless discipline to separate constructive criticism from destructive noise. One sharpens your sword, honing your craft, forcing you to re-examine, to refine. The other seeks only to dull your spirit, to erode your resolve, to pull you back into the comfort of the crowd. Welcome the first. Let it refine your craft, strengthen your resolve, and reveal the blind spots you've yet to see in yourself. But as for the second, the destructive noise, ignore it. Dismiss it like dust in the wind, for it seeks not your growth, but your surrender. Commitment in the face of criticism is one of the highest forms of courage. It is easy to stand tall when the crowd applauds your every move, when their cheers echo your own triumphs. But to keep walking when they laugh, to keep building when they mock, to keep believing when they doubt, that is the undeniable mark of the resolute. That is the signature of the true visionary. Let their doubt be the stark backdrop to your unwavering determination. Let their disbelief fuel your fire, transforming their negativity into the very oxygen of your ambition. In time, your results will silence their resistance. Your undeniable progress will answer their every question. Your success will be the echoing, triumphant roar of your resilience. Understand this deeply: no great change, no revolutionary idea, no profound transformation ever came without resistance. The world changes not because people instantly accept something new, but because someone, with an unyielding spirit, dares to persist despite rejection, despite ridicule, despite overwhelming odds. You must be that someone. So stand firm in your vision. Carry it not like a fragile hope that might shatter at the slightest touch, but like a sacred torch, its flame fueled by your conviction. Shield it from the bitter winds of doubt, and feed it, relentlessly, with the pure breath of belief. For one day, those who doubted you will no longer remember why, their fleeting criticisms forgotten. But the world will remember you, the one who stayed true, the one who did not yield, the one who transformed resistance into reverence. That is your power, and it is greater than any critic's voice could ever hope to be. In your relentless pursuit of success, you may have, perhaps, imagined the journey as a straight road. Clear, predictable, easy to follow. A linear progression from point A to point B. But life rarely operates in such an orderly fashion. It twists. It turns. It throws formidable obstacles directly into your path when you least expect them, often from blind spots you never anticipated. And in those moments, in the crucible of unexpected change, life does not reward the rigid. It does not favor the unyielding, those who cling stubbornly to old methods. No. It rewards you, and rewards you only, if you are adaptable. Adaptability is not a luxury you can afford to ignore. It is not an optional trait for those who merely wish to survive. It is an absolute, non-negotiable essential for anyone who seeks to thrive, to truly flourish, when others falter and crumble. It is the invisible force that allows you to pivot, to adjust your sails when the winds of change shift violently, to stay in motion when others are pinned down by their own inflexibility. When markets shift dramatically, when meticulously laid plans fall apart in an instant, when relationships evolve in unforeseen ways, you must evolve too. What worked brilliantly yesterday may be entirely obsolete tomorrow. So ask yourself, with brutal honesty, will you adjust, or will you be left behind, a relic of a bygone era? Consider Dwight D. Eisenhower, the 34th President of the United States. He wasn't merely a brilliant wartime general, he was a visionary political leader who understood the profound value of strategic flexibility, of adapting his approach to the ever-changing landscape. As president, Eisenhower faced a rapidly transforming world: the escalating Cold War, the terrifying specter of nuclear tensions, the simmering racial unrest, and shifting global economic ties. Instead of relying solely on military might or rigid partisan ideology, he adopted a balanced, pragmatic approach to leadership, constantly adapting to the moment's demands. Eisenhower spearheaded the development of the interstate highway system, not merely as an infrastructure project, but as a vital national defense measure, a strategic adaptation to the demands of the Cold War era. He expanded Social Security and maintained critical New Deal programs, demonstrating a willingness to evolve government's role, while simultaneously keeping the federal budget in check, a delicate dance between progress and stability. And when faced with the insidious rise of McCarthyism, he navigated the treacherous political waters carefully, choosing to preserve democratic values without fueling further division. Eisenhower's brilliance lay not in rigidity, not in clinging to a singular dogma, but in his profound ability to adapt policy to the moment, to the complex, evolving needs of a changing America. You must learn to move like that. To bend without breaking. To stay in fluid motion when the world tries to pin you down with its challenges. Be willing to unlearn outdated beliefs and relentlessly relearn new truths. Continuously seek knowledge, like a parched traveler seeks water. Expand your skill set, not for the sake of accumulation, but for the sake of greater capability. Do not cling to a method that no longer serves your purpose, no matter how comfortable or familiar it feels. If a plan, no matter how meticulously crafted, fails, do not see it as a dead end. See it as a signal. A clear, undeniable sign to change course, to find a new angle, to adapt your approach. Your core principles, your purpose, these are your anchors. Yes, they are immutable. But your strategy, the how-to, must be as fluid as water. There is no wisdom in charging head-on into a solid wall when you could, with a simple shift in perspective, walk around it. Real strength is knowing when to pivot, when to adapt, and when to strike from a new, unexpected angle. Far too many people mistake stubbornness for resilience. They wear their refusal to change like a badge of honor, proclaiming their inflexibility as a virtue. But you know better. You know that adaptability is not weakness, it is, in its purest form, intelligence in action. It silently declares, I will not be tied to the old way. I am committed to the ultimate outcome, not to an outdated, ineffective method. So stay focused on your unwavering purpose, but stay profoundly flexible in your approach. The winds of life will shift. New challenges, unforeseen and perhaps daunting, will arise. Let your sails adjust to catch the new current. Let your mindset evolve with the ever-changing landscape. Because life will not pause to give you time to catch up. It will continue to move, relentlessly, forward. And your only choice, your profound power, is whether you will move with it, or be swept aside, a victim of stagnation. Do not fear the changes. Embrace them. Step into the unknown with an audacious confidence, knowing that your ability to adapt is your greatest power. It is what will separate you from the rest, from those who cling desperately to what was, while the future rushes past them. In a world that constantly transforms, it is not the strongest, nor the most intelligent who ultimately thrive. It is those, like you, who are willing to change, willing to adjust, willing to evolve. If you can master this skill, this fluidity of being, you will not just survive, you will shape the future. You will not be broken by life's challenges. You will become the very force that turns them into unforeseen opportunities. Deep within the core of every profound achievement, every audacious journey, every victory hard won against overwhelming odds, lies an unshakable bedrock self-belief. Without it, every single step forward feels uncertain, tentative, as if walking on thin ice. Every challenge, no matter how small, feels heavier than it truly is, amplified by the silent whispers of doubt. Without it, that insidious doubt creeps in, a paralyzing fog that arrests progress and turns boundless potential into the bitter sting of regret. But with self-belief, true, profound self-belief, you become unshakable. You move with an undeniable intention. You speak with a conviction that commands attention. You act without hesitation, a force of nature in human form. Challenges do not magically disappear, but they no longer break you. Instead, they serve a higher purpose. They build you, fortifying your spirit, shaping your resolve. Muhammad Ali once famously declared, with the rhythmic cadence of a poet and the unwavering certainty of a prophet, "I am the greatest." To many, in that moment, it sounded like sheer arrogance, a bombastic boast. But to those who truly understood, to those who saw beyond the surface, it was clarity. It was power. It was the declaration of a man who knew, long before the world did, that greatness lives first and foremost in the mind. He wasn't born the greatest, he became the greatest. Not by magic, not by mere physical talent alone, but because he believed he was. That belief became his impenetrable armor in the ring, shielding him from every blow, and his unyielding anchor outside of it, holding him steady through every storm. Through every setback, every grueling fight, every public controversy, his self-belief never wavered. You must build the same. Not a shallow confidence that crumbles at the first sign of adversity. Not a temporary high fueled by fleeting external validation. But a deep, unwavering belief in who you are becoming, and what you are profoundly capable of achieving. This belief, this internal fortress, begins with your words. Your mind, that incredible, complex mechanism, listens intently. It absorbs everything you say about yourself, about your capabilities, about your future. If you speak fear, it will grow, a poisonous weed in your mental garden. If you speak strength, it will rise, a mighty oak reaching for the sky. So speak power daily, relentlessly, with the conviction of a sacred oath. Tell yourself, not as a flimsy pretense, but as a deep, internal affirmation: I am capable. I am worthy. I am becoming stronger every single day. Not because you are pretending to be something you are not, but because you are actively, relentlessly, consciously becoming that person. Repetition is the sculptor of truth. And the more you affirm your worth, the more your mind begins to believe it, internalizing it as an undeniable fact. But do not stop there. Prove it to yourself. Look back at your past, at the storms you have already weathered, the battles you have already won, even the ones you barely survived. The times you felt utterly broken, shattered into a million pieces, yet somehow, you kept going. The moments you didn't think you'd make it, that the weight was too much, yet here you are, standing, breathing, still in the fight. Every single victory, no matter how small, is proof. Proof that you have what it takes. Proof that you are stronger, more resilient, more capable than you ever dared to think. Gather those moments. Remember them. Let them become the unshakable foundation of your confidence, the solid ground upon which you build your future. Then, carry that belief into your actions. Stand tall. Shoulders back. Eyes forward, meeting the world with an unwavering gaze. Speak as if every word you utter carries weight, because it does. Act as if success is not merely a possibility, but an inevitability, already yours for the claiming. Because when you move, speak, and act like you believe, the world, in subtle yet profound ways, begins to respond. Doors open that were once closed. Opportunities appear where none existed before. Not because of random luck, but because self-belief, a potent, transformative force, shifts reality itself. You are not waiting for validation from external sources. You are not asking for permission from anyone. You are claiming what is already, undeniably, within you. Every legend you admire, every individual whose name is etched in the annals of human achievement, started here. Not with immediate applause, not with talent alone, but with belief. Quiet, consistent, and unshakable. This is not ego. This is not delusion. This is truth, spoken into existence before it becomes visible to the world. There will be days when you are doubted, when the world, or even your own inner critic, whispers insidious lies. You will stumble. You will fall. But your belief must remain. Not because you are perfect, but because you are persistent. So train your mind with the same rigor you would train your body. Feed it strength, positive affirmations, empowering narratives. Starve it of doubt, of fear, of limiting thoughts. Surround yourself with words, with people, with environments, and with actions that relentlessly reinforce who you are becoming, not who you used to be. Speak your victories, past and future, into existence. And when fear, that ancient, primal adversary, rises, face it with the unyielding fire of belief. The world cannot, truly cannot, stop someone who refuses to quit. Someone who believes so deeply in their purpose, their potential, and their inherent power that nothing, no setback, no criticism, no external circumstance, can shake them. Be that person. Build that belief. And watch, in awe, as the world moves to meet you. Life, in its peculiar, often brutal wisdom, has a relentless way of testing every single ounce of strength, every fiber of courage within us. It does not send out polite invitations before it unleashes storms upon our path. It simply does. And when it does, it is not the easiest path, nor the path of least resistance, that defines our destiny. It is the raw, untamed inner power we summon in the darkest, most desperate hours. This power, my friend, is resilience. It is the invisible force, the coiled spring within, that pulls a man up, defiant and unbroken, when the world believes he will stay down forever. It is the quiet, stubborn determination in the heart that whispers, with unyielding conviction, try again, when the deafening roar of failure screams, quit. History, that grand chronicler of human endeavor, is generous in its examples, but one figure stands as a towering testament to the power of resilience: Thomas Edison. Imagine, for a moment, thousands upon thousands of attempts to perfect the incandescent light bulb. All of them, seemingly, leading nowhere but further into the abyss of failure. The world would have scoffed. The critics, those ever-present shadows of doubt, would have reveled in their "I told you so's." Even close friends, with well-meaning pity, might have offered sympathetic advice to simply give it all up, to cut his losses, to return to the comfort of the known. And yet, Mr. Edison stood unmoved, his spirit an unyielding fortress. He did not view each failed attempt as a crushing defeat, a sign of his inadequacy. No. He viewed each one as a precious lesson. "I haven't failed," he once famously declared, "I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." These were not mere words, not a clever turn of phrase. They were the battle cries of a man who profoundly understood that every setback, every apparent failure, was simply a step forward in disguise. What Mr. Edison practiced was not blind, stubborn persistence. It was a philosophy of profound resilience. He did not curse the darkness that surrounded his experiments. He meticulously sought the light, the next breakthrough, the hidden truth within the struggle. He didn't resent the arduous, soul-testing nature of the struggle. He welcomed it, embraced it, as the crucible in which greatness is forged, a necessary fire that purified his purpose. That is the timeless lesson life offers us through such men, to see obstacles not as impassable barriers, but as necessary thresholds, as gateways to a higher level of being. Challenges are not punishment sent from an indifferent universe. They are preparation. Each trial, each disappointment, each moment of despair is not designed to break you, it is sculpting you. It is chiseling away the excess, the fear, the doubt, the complacency, to reveal the warrior, the creator, the true, magnificent self within. And so, when you find yourself weary, when your dreams appear impossibly distant, shrouded in a fog of uncertainty, and the crushing weight of the world presses upon your chest, pause. But do not retreat. Do not surrender. Instead, remind yourself, with the quiet power of a sacred truth, this pain is not the end. It is the undeniable beginning of my growth. The muscles of the mind, the strength of the spirit, the raw courage of the heart, they are all built, refined, and made unbreakable through resistance. You sharpen your skills, not in moments of ease, but in the fires of difficulty. Wisdom is not handed out freely in times of joy, it is earned, painstakingly, through the soul's brutal wrestling match with hardship. You must begin to expect resistance. And more importantly, you must learn to profoundly respect it. For it is resistance that builds resilience. It is through falling, painfully and repeatedly, that we truly learn how to rise. And it is through rising again and again, with unyielding resolve, that we become unbreakable. Remember, resilience is not about perfection. It is not about a flawless path, a life untouched by adversity, or a record untarnished by defeat. It is about the profound courage to stand up, bruised but defiant, every single time you fall. It is about choosing hope over despair, relentless effort over soul-crushing apathy, and unshakable faith over paralyzing fear. The resilient man does not wait for life to be easy, he grows stronger precisely because it is hard. So let the world test you. Let it throw whatever it may. For each time you rise from the ashes of a setback, you do not return the same. You return wiser, stronger, more prepared, more potent. That is the secret. Every setback is not a defeat, it is a setup for your next, inevitable triumph. Rise again, and again, and again, until rising becomes your very nature, your default setting, and nothing, not even life itself, can keep you down for long. Your mindset dictates your future. This is not merely a pithy motivational phrase, tossed out casually to inspire a fleeting spark. It is a fundamental, immutable truth of life, a law as profound as gravity. Every thought you nurture, every belief you entertain, every perspective you choose to adopt becomes the very lens through which you view the world, and ultimately, the intricate map you follow through the landscape of your existence. If that lens is clouded with negativity, obscured by the fog of doubt, and limited by self-imposed constraints, then every opportunity, no matter how bright, will appear as a hidden threat. Every setback, no matter how minor, will feel like the crushing end of your world. But if that lens is meticulously polished with the vibrant clarity of optimism, the diamond-like strength of resilience, and an unwavering belief in endless growth, then even the darkest, most challenging paths begin to reveal glimmers of light, guiding you forward. Imagine your mind as a garden, rich and fertile. In this garden, your thoughts are the seeds. The mindset you carry, whether it is one of boundless possibility or crippling limitation, is the very soil in which those seeds take root and grow. You cannot, with any logical expectation, hope to cultivate a vibrant, flourishing bed of roses if your soil is filled with bitterness, fear, and the debris of past failures. But if you plant seeds of courage, of profound gratitude, of unyielding determination, and of tenacious hope in rich, fertile soil, diligently watered by positive intention, then the magnificent flowers of your future will blossom with undeniable beauty and unparalleled strength. You, and only you, hold complete, sovereign power over what seeds you choose to plant in your mental garden. That power lies in your inherent, undeniable ability to choose your thoughts. You are not a helpless victim at the mercy of your circumstances. You are the gardener. You decide, with every conscious moment, what grows in the vast, fertile field of your life. It begins with awareness. Catch yourself. Intercept that moment when negative self-talk, insidious and pervasive, attempts to creep in. Phrases like, "I can't do this," or "this always happens to me," or "I'm simply not good enough," are not facts. They are patterns. They are deeply ingrained habits of the mind, pathways worn smooth by repetition. And like all habits, they can be broken. Every single time you hear yourself planting a weed of doubt, uproot it. Immediately. Ruthlessly. Replace it with a seed of possibility, a potent affirmation of your power. Start saying, "I can, and I will." Say, with conviction, "This challenge is not an obstacle, it is my teacher, forging me into something stronger." Say, "Even if I stumble, even if I fall, I will rise again, wiser and more formidable than before." With consistent, disciplined repetition, these powerful thoughts begin to coalesce into deeply held beliefs. And those beliefs, in turn, become the very architecture of your actions, shaping your reality. Consider, once more, the lives of those who have achieved true greatness. What truly sets them apart is not some mystical luck or a complete absence of hardship. It is, profoundly, the way they think. They have rigorously trained their minds to interpret struggle as an opportunity for growth, to see failure not as a terminal diagnosis but as crucial feedback, and to embrace uncertainty as the thrilling beginning of an adventure. They have, in essence, mastered their inner world, cultivated an unshakable inner fortress, so they can rise, undeterred, in the outer one. You must begin to do the same. Feed your mind with relentless inspiration. Read the stories of those who endured unimaginable odds and emerged, not only victorious, but transformed. Surround yourself with voices, with environments, with narratives that powerfully reflect who you want to become, not who you used to be. Speak to yourself with the same unwavering encouragement, the same profound compassion, you would offer to someone you deeply love. Because you are someone worthy of that love, and worthy of that belief. Let your mind, that most potent of tools, become your strongest ally, your most loyal champion, not your greatest saboteur. When the inevitable storms of life arrive, and they will, with unpredictable fury, your mindset will be the sole determinant of whether you are washed away, defeated, or whether you rise, drenched but undefeated, triumphant. Success, after all, is not only about external achievement, the trophies and accolades visible to the world. It is, first and foremost, about internal mastery. This is the silent, profound secret of all those who succeed over the long term, who build not just businesses, or families, or vast empires, but who build unassailable inner fortresses. They cultivate stillness in chaos, clarity in the face of confusion, and an unshakable belief in the face of overwhelming fear. Their lives are not perfect, for perfection is an illusion, but their perspective, their cultivated mindset, allows them to grow profoundly through whatever they go through. So take control of your mind, today. Stop waiting for the world to change, for circumstances to align. Begin by changing your thoughts. Instead of reacting to life, start creating your life. Instead of merely wishing for things to be different, start doing the work to make them so. Instead of doubting your immense capacity, start believing with every fiber of your being. This profound shift does not happen overnight. It is a daily, disciplined practice. But every day, every conscious choice, every moment of awareness strengthens your ability to direct your life, rather than merely drifting through it, a leaf on a current. And soon, inevitably, you will find that your outer world is beginning to reflect the quiet, potent power you have nurtured within. By mastering your mindset, you do not eliminate hardship, for hardship is the forge of greatness. But you transform it. You turn obstacles into stepping stones. You turn setbacks into setups for even greater success. You stop asking, with a victim's sigh, "Why me?" and you start declaring, with a conqueror's roar, "Watch me." Because a powerful mind can overcome any limitation, real or perceived, and a focused spirit can achieve what once seemed utterly impossible. The garden of your future, fertile and vast, is waiting. What will you choose to plant today? Ideas without action are worthless. You may possess the most brilliant vision, the most meticulously detailed plan, or the most inspiring dream imaginable. But if you never move, if you never take that first audacious step, if you never act, then all of it, every single spark of genius, every grand design, fades into nothingness, a forgotten whisper on the wind. The world, the universe itself, does not reward the thinker who merely conceives. It rewards the doer. It rewards the one who dares to translate thought into tangible form, who transforms intention into momentum. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not bridged by wishing. It is bridged by the consistent, relentless application of action. Every master you admire, every legend whose story resonates with you, understood this fundamental truth. They weren't just dreamers, they were tireless, often obsessive, doers. Walt Disney didn't just dream of a magical kingdom, he broke ground, poured concrete, hired thousands, and built it, piece by painstaking piece, despite financial ruin and relentless naysayers. Henry Ford didn't just envision a car for the common man, he tinkered, failed countless times, refined, and then industrialized a process that put the world on wheels. Their dreams were immense, yes, but their actions were even more immense, a daily, relentless march forward.